Hi, Dr. Carolyn here. In the last video, we talked about how body image is not about your body. Today, I want to talk to you about the things that bother me about medical doctors. And yes, I am one, so I can talk about us. Anyway, we've been led to believe that there's a tremendous amount of research that shows that if you're not thin, you can't be healthy. And we know from the health at every size movement that many of those studies are very biased in favor of, because they assumed that being in a larger body is in and of itself unhealthy. So I've spoken about this in previous videos, so I'm not going to talk so much about that. I want to focus today on weight stigma and body shaming, and to mention that doctors are the second biggest purveyors of weight stigma, with our families being number one. So in this video, I want to talk to you about the things that bother me about doctors. So here are some things that bother me about doctors. Number one, I feel that my weight is nobody's business but my own. Honestly, I'm sick of doctors recommending diets to me, quote unquote, for my health. P.S. Did they forget, number one, that I am a doctor, and number two, that I'm a specialist in treating eating disorders and working with people with food and body image issues. The second thing I'm tired of about doctors is for them blaming every health issue I have on my weight. As an added thought, I'm tired of feeling I have to prove to them that I have a healthy lifestyle. For example, I've been referred to a dietitian recently, and I talked to her on 2 separate occasions, and she went over my eating habits and said I had great eating habits. I told my doctor this, and he was skeptical because, of course, of my size. Same thing for activity. I am actually a very active person, and I felt that I had to justify to him that I was active, again, because his assumption is because of my size that I'm not a very active person. So these are all the stereotypes that get blamed on size. And it's just really difficult to have a relationship with a doctor or even to meet with a doctor, because the first thing they focus on is your size. Now, you know, like not 100 years ago, but almost, there were no scales. The first scale was 1917. That's when the first bathroom scales were introduced. So before that, people ate what they had available, and then they got back to doing whatever work they had to do, and so on. And as well, weight wasn't part of a doctor's health or your health profile. So just imagine what it would be like if you went to the doctor and got to talk about your health concerns, whether it be a sore throat, an aching back, etc., without them blaming it on your weight. That's a dream. I hope it will come true. But I want to also just give you some tools that I have found that work for me. So my solution, this is Dr. Carolyn's solutions to my own and other people's anger at doctors. Number one, I no longer meekly get on a scale at any doctor's office. I don't let anyone weigh me. That's not to say that I never weigh myself. I do, but very infrequently. Number two, I wish the impact of trauma would be taught in medical school. Maybe this would make doctors pause and think about some of the other reasons why someone may be living in a larger body, besides that they're lazy, don't exercise enough, and eat too much. Number three, size and shape are very complex issues, and I no longer even read articles, research, opinion pieces that talk about diets. I avoid social media, And I'm sorry, I misspoke. I don't avoid social media, but I avoid social media sites where people are trolling someone for losing weight when they have previously been quote unquote models of body positivity, or sites that troll people for gaining weight after having lost weight, or sites that promote dieting or have anything to do with weight. And finally, I'm becoming hardened to weight stigma, attempts by doctors and others to shame me about my size. So my line when I go in the doctor's office and the nurse wants to weigh me is that I don't believe weight has anything to do with my health, so I prefer not to weigh. I prefer not to weigh. And you don't have to do the explanation. You can just say, I prefer not to weigh. Because let's face it, life is too short. One thing that the last 2 years of quarantine and recovering from COVID long haul and seeing the million people in our country who have lost their lives from COVID has taught me is that life is really too short to spend precious time, energy, and money worrying about my size. Because in fact, there is nothing more that I can do about it other than what I'm already doing. I feel I have more to offer than just how I look. I feel my life has more meaning than whether or not I'm a certain size. I have so much more to accomplish. Yes, still. And worrying about my size just gets in the way of all that. What about you? Are you ready to move away from the tyranny of the scale? Are you ready to stand up for your freedom from having to weigh and be able to speak your piece to your doctor and let them know that your weight doesn't define you? Are you ready to move back into your beautiful life? Well, if so, I'm here to help. I want to remind you of the free book offer. You can get a free copy of the Food Addiction Recovery Workbook. I pay for the book. You pay for shipping and handling. The information and the link is in the notes below. Also want to remind you that the Anchor program is accepting new clients. The Anchor program is a non-diet coaching program for people with binge eating, compulsive overeating, food addiction, or emotional eating. See the link to sign up for a free consult in the notes below. Give us a rating so we can get the word out and share this video with anyone you think might be interested. Thanks for listening. This is Dr. Carolyn signing off.